Amanda, would you like to give us where we stand, please?
Sure. So where we stand right now, the administration has proposed a budget for fiscal year 26 as $34,842,947. To that number, assuming that the contract passes, the impact to the budget for next year will be an additional $574,212 for a total of, stand by, $35,417,159. Another thing to note that that this is the numbers from version 3. The version 2 budget, there's been a decrease by the administration of $420,902 from version 2 to version 3. So that's where we are currently.
Did you check their numbers again?
Absolutely, I can check my numbers again. What's wrong? What didn't I do? Did you?
I got
Somebody-
35,838,000.
Sorry. 34,842,947 plus,
Where are you finding that?
right here,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay,
down here.
so you've got the new numbers with the new
Yes.
numbers, okay,
The-
so that's fine.
The total, the budget total
That's
above
okay.
the line, as Steve, I'm taking a Steve line,
Yes.
above the line, 34,8.
Okay, no, you were right, your number is right. 3,989.
Which would then bring the total budget below the line to that $37,475,893. Again, that's prior to any other warrant article or anything else that we've already seen tonight. Okay. So that's where we stand.
Okay, I will make clear at this point that Alyssa Bascom is sitting in as alternate for Jamie T.
So the question is what is the will of the committee and where do we go from here? When we met on the 2nd, we talked about vacancy management and we had 2 different roadmaps, if I remember, of potential cuts. The greater of those cuts that we were talking about was around $600,000 from the original budget of version 2. So the original budget from version 2, I'm doing my math again, sorry. 2, 6, 3, 8, 4, 9.
What was the version 2 number, the reduction that was made from version 2?
420,000, 420,902,000.
429.
So the original version 2, above the line total was 35,263,849. And if I, again, did the math correctly, our proposed cut of 600,000 would have dropped the budget to 34,663,849, which compared to the proposed version 3 number is a difference of around $200,000.
Which,
Am I making sense with, are you following?
no, it's making sense. I thought, that there was a nice round number suggested by Mr. DeLazio of 34.5, but
Yes, we
That
had,
was for sort of real numbers.
right.
we were still waiting
Yeah,
on some
right.
We're
information.
getting numbers in drips and drabs, so we're not getting things all at one time.
So. Yes, so we had talked about 34.5 before real numbers.
Okay.
So,
So I'll throw something on the table.
go ahead.
That may make some sense. We had a version 2 number that we were working with. We saw a reduction potential of about 600,000. The school board came up with 429,002. I would suggest we take the difference between that and 600,000, take it off the number, and it becomes $35,220,084.
Sorry, I followed you, but I didn't. Can you do that
Okay,
again?
so when we were working on the version 2, but from the version 2 budget.
Yeah.
We thought that there was a potential to remove about 600,000 in various things based on the numbers that were in front of us that day. Okay. School board and the administration did a good job. They came back with $420,902 worth of reductions. I'm suggesting we credit that to 600,000, if you will.
Yep.
That leaves about $179,000.
Okay.
I'd say that's what we should reduce from the 35,417,182. That brings us to 35,220,084. It achieved our original idea from version 2.
So you're proposing an additional $179,000
9,000
cut.
come off roughly, yeah.
Okay,
To a 35,220,084,
all in.
all in.
Number 179,000.
I think it's 179, yeah. I could be off by 2,000 one direction or the
And
other.
that's from the administration's.
Taking the 420 that the administration already took out from version 2. Monday night, I guess they took it out. 429,002, right? Then you take 600,000, which is what we were thinking about, right? Minus 429,002.
Where did the 420 number
So I
come from?
took version 2, which is 35,263,849. And I subtracted version 3 of 34,842,947. Let's just do it again to make sure, because I don't pretend to be a math administrator.
I believe if you're looking at that document, Gabe, I don't think it includes the reduction from 4% to 3%, and that's the difference between the 404 and the 409. Or 20, or whatever the last number that is on version 3.
Version 3 includes the reduction of admin?
It does,
Okay, it does.
but then, and all I'm saying is the number that Amanda just came up with does not match the document that we got today that shows where those cuts were made. It's because that isn't included on this list. That's all.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
It's in addition to what's on this list.
So the 3% cut, or the
The one.
1% cut is in addition to this what's on this list. Okay, So,
and that makes
might be a little bit higher,
yes.
you know what we're saying?
Yeah.
I still think 35,220,
So
unless we can get more accurate numbers.
is everybody following what I'm doing? I took version 2, I took the above line total of version 2 for fiscal year 26. And I subtracted fiscal year 26 from version 3. I came up with $420,902.
All right, that's all we can do.
Right, and then Steve's proposal is originally, we had said 600,000. 600,000 minus 402, 429,002, 179,098. So that's the proposal, is to reduce the budget by an additional $179,098
From version 3.
from version 3.
Jennifer?
When we were discussing this the other night, we couldn't figure out how much the potential increase for the support staff was. Did we not did we not make assumptions and include that in the 600,000? Or we left it at 600? We were gonna go to 900 or something.
Something right, we said
Yeah.
at 6, right?
So assume it was gonna be 300,000. So that's a $200,000 increase. Okay.
Question regarding the CBA, that 6%, is that for 3 years? Is it a one lump sum? Can someone explain it again? Just to make sure?
So as I understand it, the first year is going to be an increase to the budget of $574,000 plus dollars. And then the next 2 years is the increase of, it's 200 or 250,000 each year. So for year one, it's 574. For year two, it's 200.
69.
Thank you, 269. And then for year three, it's,
And that was spelled out in the warrant article that they wrote?
It's in the presentation.
and I do
Yeah,
believe it's spelled out in the warrant. There was a chart, I thought I saw a chart on the warrant.
Yeah, because the more
Compacted.
detail in the warrant article, the better. Most people are confused by that.
It looks like they have a 3-year contract and they front loaded the contract.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
So, but over those 3 years, it's 6%.
Yes,
I get it, okay.
To answer your question, yes, it is spelled out in the warrant article for the
Thank you.
estimated increases.
Good. Should be.
Jerry?
I know I wasn't here for that, but that $600,000 that you guys talked about, was that arbitrary or did you?
There was some,
No,
there was some
was there some
discussion.
discussion?
Yes,
okay,
Yeah.
Because I would be against just coming up with.
No,
well, I
there's no
want-
arbitrary numbers.
Okay.
that's,
That,
That was our charter, right, from day one, that was
Yes.
started 3 years ago.
okay,
that's not what we like to do.
okay, I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure, I wanted to clarify.
Yeah,
That's-
very
What
clear.
would you sure pay though, at this meeting?
You can take 100% off.
It was on-
So we have, we're discussing, there's no motion currently. Does anybody have anything else that they want to talk about? With respect to this currently?
I'd like to clarify the numbers. I'm
Yes.
taking minutes and I'm trying to follow. When you say above the line that's on this sheet, proposed FY 26,
Yes,
above the line is at budget totals.
yes.
Yeah.
So the number 35,220,084, where does that fit in?
Okay, so this, the budget total line would go from 34,842,947. We adopt what I was talking about, 34,663,849 if we go to.
So what's the 35,220?
That's the adding that CBA contract.
Add the CBA contract back in, which we don't do for
Right.
warrant one, but looking at it from the 30,000-foot view, that's what the budget would be. Assuming that the contract passes, and we've never seen a contract fail.
Right, Jerry?
Yeah, just trying to compare against, fiscal year 25, where you have the, approximately 35 million. Did that include a CBA, as well that year? Was there one that year?
We did not have a
Yeah, okay.
contract.
It's a new contract.
Okay, well, this was for support. I didn't know if
Yeah.
the teachers got their contract last year.
No, next year.
Okay, so that 35 million was 35 million, didn't have an extra one there. Gotcha.
Is it within our charge? I'm just trying to think of what we're responsible for. We're responsible for a budget number.
Right.
That's not including hypotheticals. So I'm getting hung up on why we would include a warrant article, passing or not, likely or not. Why are we recommending a number that would include?
We're not recommending that number.
No.
That's just for our own, and,
So
Understanding.
right. So the number that we would be proposing is the
663.
34,849. That would be that number.
Sorry, what was that number again?
662.
34,663,849.
I still didn't get it, I'm sorry.
34,663,849.
So that would be warrant one.
That's correct.
That's right.
So, and that's the reduction of the 179,098.
You don't want to round up to 180?
I
wanted the dollar, take off the 10 pounds.
So then, when we're talking about the 35, that if next year, when we get this sheet again, next year, this above the line number is going to be for fiscal year 26, is going to be that 35,238,061.
Assuming it passes.
Right, because if the CBA passes, then it gets added to the budget,
That's clear, yes.
right? So then this number, this 34 million that we're talking about increases by the amount of that CBA.
Correct.
So the reason that we are talking about that $35 million is because when you're looking at it, we are, the overall impact when the budget is fully formed after we vote on all of the warrants is that $35 million. Because then that will be in something that they'll be in all of our information again next year, the light items and all of that.
And it becomes a default.
So it will become part of the default calculation, yes, the default formula. So is that okay with, am I being clear?
Yes, there's just enough numbers around to be confusing. I'm trying to think.
What are you talking?
And nothing is lining up because we're including, there's a discussion about item 1, and I did not catch that we were including the addition of number 2. So
I think Lori said she would clarify that in her
Yes,
presentation.
So
To
the
make
voters
sure
know what
it's
they're voting
clear.
on.
I don't understand why it's not clear. They're 2 separate warrant articles that maybe I've just been looking at warrants for long enough that I understand that, but 2 separate warrant articles and 2, if you vote for the CBA, it's an addition.
Right.
I-
so I think what
So,
taxpayers don't understand, most taxpayers don't understand is that adds to they see one slide that says this is what our tax burden is. And then the next slide says, in addition to that first slide, you gotta add this to get your total tax burden. And I think that's where it gets lost.
You actually have to add every warrant article that doesn't say it's tax neutral.
That's correct. That's correct. You'll see on some towns now, they're putting for warrant articles that are raised by taxation, they're putting the impact in the warrant article. This passing of this warrant article increase your taxes by 10 cents per thousand or whatever. You see a lot of that now appearing on the ballots.
So we're not gonna assume
No.
the voter sees the $10,000 for structural studies on the high school and doesn't understand that's not included in the budget as presented? The
No,
vote
that's-
for,
They'll see that it's tax neutral.
Because you're getting
It's
the
coming
money
from
out
the
of
capital
capital
reserve.
reserve.
it's,
Yeah, but using the
It's-
example,
it's-
yes,
it's-
so that's,
it's- For our purpose here, it doesn't really matter.
but I think that when we talk about being transparent and having more communication with the taxpayer, when somebody says the budget is $34.8 million, it is in this snapshot in time, right now, yes, it is, but it's not, right? Because it's also, and there's another $500,000 being added on to that because of the CBA. And then there's also anything else in the warrant articles being added on to that. So I understand what you're saying, but I think that to it's more education
Okay.
for
So
everyone.
it's educating the people that this is an additional 500,000 and change
Right,
if they vote yes to the CPA.
yes. So, but
Present those numbers as,
the number that we give to the school board,
It's the 34,668,49. We never vote on it
what
today.
we vote.
And we should recommend that, warrant articles carry what the tax burden will be on every capital improvement they vote on.
Well, if it doesn't come out of budget.
Yeah, recommend to the board that that should be included on, on each of those warrant articles. What it would do to your taxes if you vote yes.
On the
We've
capital
done that.
improvement articles?
Yes.
If they
No,
don't
on the-
come out of reserve.
Not on the tax neutral one.
Right. On the
Okay.
ones that you're voting to expend money.
I believe they do. So everything I've ever seen shows the projected tax rates for any of those CBA things or not.
It's not any warrant article that the funds are raised through taxation.
Right, so right now we just have the.
We only have the two,
Right.
budget
And
and
both of them
CBA.
show that.
Right, and
So
both
I
of them
think
show
it's
that, yeah.
been-
But if you add another warrant article to build a building and that was coming from taxation, it would be nice to know what the tax impact would be.
Right, I think that was about saying.
Yeah,
So there will be another table. There will be a table under each of those with tax impact by tax.
That's the recommendation, we can say
Yeah.
that there will be.
It's already there.
It's already there.
It's already
It's
there.
already in the warrants. The first two warrants.
Okay.
So I think one and two is the same.
Yes.
So,
Here's one.
Yeah. It's cut and paste for many, many years.
okay, so do we want to do a motion?
we probably need a motion.
No,
Steve, would you make a motion for your number, please?
I make a motion to the FY 26 proposed budget total to be $34,663,849.
Second,
Chris?
the other toughest critic.
Okay, so now we're discussing, right? Sorry.
Yes,
Yes.
Is there anything else that? Does anybody have anything else that they want to talk about related to reductions besides this number?
ID example?
Yeah.
You have one?
No, I
Okay.
don't. So it is because I'm just asking, or is this where everybody wants to be?
I have a question.
just let's pause. There's a lot on the table and I'm gonna take some minutes, so 30 seconds a minute. We have a number to think about, so we can come back together and have a discussion, everybody. Think about what we want to do next. Going to read back the motion because it needs further clarification. What an above the line number is, because that's not a total budget number. It would be under budget totals line. Am I correct in
That's
that? Or is
correct.
that a total?
No. Budget totals.
Steve makes a motion to recommend a budget totals, parentheses, above the line number of $34,663,849. Seconded by Chris. Is that correct?
Yes. I think that's correct.
Discuss the motion.
My question was, did anybody have anything else they wanted to Any other anything else they want to talk about? Any other reductions, anything that they want to talk about after this? Is there anything in addition to this number?
I have just a question for understanding. For the funds that are below the line, why are those? There's revenue and there's
Yeah.
food service,
And
but
remember,
then they're added to the other one.
right, and
The sign up that.
So they're just showing you what you're gonna
Spend,
spend.
but they come out in revenue, right? So like a wash, a grant comes in, expense goes out, grant goes in.
which is why it's the same number every single year. It's a wash.
Even though I thought they said it's not gonna be the same.
But that's
Or
what, that's the
Same,
place,
it's the same.
yeah, and it's been that way.
Okay.
If we,
Forever.
if we were a month earlier in the process, we'd dig down into those lines further, but not the night before.
Right.
Right,
Right,
there is
which
no
is an
time
issue.
to look for more $18 mechanical pencils.
And candy?
Hmm.
Alright.
Anyway, that's frivolous, but I would, you know, this is more of a comment, if I might, it's just that I think things are improving. Again, we were shorted a time, and hopefully, in speaking with Deb, last meeting, I'd like to see the budget process start in May. This year for next, it can be done. We already have, they have actuals, what the projections are gonna be, and we can further then put these things into blocks. Each of these things. And in working with the board, really ultimately look at what's going on in the district, you know, that. And it's not a joke when you see mechanical pencils and things like that. It's because it's a sign of other things, and everybody can laugh at the $18, but you go, well, there's some other things that all of a sudden that appear, so. And we'd like to see it standardized within the district. Every principal use the same detail forms. That is the backup data, because without the data, we really can't, you know, appropriately put a number together or see if it's reasonable. So a standardization of the budgeting process, at each of the schools, the principals using the same forms. For example, Charles, you know, what they did, Elsted and the Charlestown's principals used the same forms. It was easy to go through and look and find out where those expenses were and say, yeah, that sounds reasonable. I mean, I don't, you know, so anyway.
On the question?
Yep.
Okay. On the motion to recommend 34,663,849. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No. But I'm okay with the number. I'll give you my rationale.
That was a vote. You were just telling me to continue saying.
No, that was a vote. Yes, I voted no. I didn't tell you to stop talking.
Hey, there's no need to give a rationale. You're welcome to.
Yeah, no, I think that the default, to the point, default formula is higher than the proposed budget. And the further that we get away from the default, then it's more of an increase. So I'm okay with the number, but
It's good. It's a good point.
One moment.
What's the default budget?
the default formula is $37,257,190.
I vote with you, no. From my perspective, there's been a lot of really hard work done on this budget. people are looking at efficiencies, not just in materials and supplies and equipment, but in how they're using people in their buildings and how scheduling is going. They are doing the hard work around the table.
Good, comment? Jennifer?
I agree with Alyssa. They've done a lot of hard work, but they're coming. Everything is continuing to improve. It's just, I still see gaps there that we shouldn't have at this point. So I don't think, recognizing the hard work they're doing takes away from them personally. It's just recognizing that there's still unanswered questions about the origin of the numbers. What we have to work with, and it's been so last minute. But now I voted yes on that change, so.
I
That's
think we
where I'm coming.
recognize. I think we recognize the effort that the school district put in by recognizing that cut of $420,900.
I was just going to ask if you want to move to make suggestions where you'd like to see that come from, or if we were going to just put it back on administration to find it.
Answer. Jennifer?
I don't think we're in a position to tell people, tell the board where to cut. It's a matter of, they can choose their own areas to cut, and there's also a strong possibility that the vacancies they've been having trouble filling won't fill either. So I don't think that that amount is going to create a hardship. And they can.
I think there's still.
They can move the money around anyway. It seems so. If they need to change line items, as long as they track it, that they're able to do that.
Jerry?
I was thinking that if the 600,000 wasn't arbitrary, you would have had enough, some items in mind. What were those items?
I believe that there's still room in vacancy management,
Okay,
because I've been in the industry a long time under these kinds of conditions. People just don't walk in the door anymore.
No.
Right? It's a tough market out there. And I think all the best intentions to have all these people, July 1, we have all of our people. It's just not realistic. And I know they did some, but I think there's more in there that can come out. I'm very happy to see that they removed the painter out of the budget. That was a big plus for me to see, but I do think there's some more room there. And I think across all the schools, there's probably a little bit. I don't think there's much in their budgets. I think they've done a really good job in, cutting back the discretionary spending as far as they can. But there's always a little bit of room someplace. The other thing I lean on is that for the past 2 years, it's been over $1 million surplus. 2 years, it's been 1.2 million roughly. And so that tells me that there's still room somewhere in the budget, right? Something's not being spent. So to get 179,000 more out of the budget, I think it's doable without hurting anybody. A little bit of more out of vacancy management, and a little bit about just some spending that's not going to occur unless they're budget. We're not that accurate.
right, $35 million. And that's not
Yeah,
very much.
We're not looking for a lot of it, right?
Okay. Any further discussion on that agenda item of budget? Okay, moving on. See no need to have a meeting on Monday, or any other subsequent day.
Correct. I agree. There's no reason, isn't there? We have a number, present to board, do it tonight, And then Lori can do whatever she needs to do over the weekend, and we can have the hearing as scheduled on Wednesday.
I can let Misty know that we will move forward with the postings as planned. I appreciate that very much.
And the school board's gonna come back to the meeting, or is it your reset?
No, we're done.
Okay.
We have a meeting on Monday anyway, our schedule, so we can take it up then. So go forward with them. Too much to do.
Consider that we notified the school board of the number that we're talking about
Absolutely.
tonight. We're here and you're here.
We'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by
Seconded.
Amanda, seconded by Steve. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for your time.
We did it in 2 hours.